In the headlines, court voids banishment of ex-emir Sanusi from Kano. Abuja court to decide fate of Anambra State Governor-elect Chukwuma Soludo on Wednesday. Human factor responsible for non-compliance with environmental sanitation law in Bauchi. And on the foreign scene, Barbados becomes a republic renouncing British Queen. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. Justice Anwali Chikere of the Federal High Court in Abuja has declared banishment on the deposed Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, to anew in Nasarawa State as unlawful and a violation of fundamental human rights. The court held that the manner of Sanusi's removal from the palace after his dethronement and taken by security operatives on the directive of the Kano State government to Nasarawa State against his will is vicious violation of his rights to personal liberty and freedom of movement. The judge declares as a nullity the Emirate Council Law 2019, under which the Kano State government claimed to have acted, averring that a citizen who has committed no offense, Sanusi is entitled to reside in any part of the country. The judge awards 10 million naira damages against the Kano State government, the Inspector General of Police and the SSS, also ordering them to offer a public apology to Sanusi in at least 2 national dailies. Justice Chikere excluded the Attorney General of the Federation from the suit on the grounds that the applicant failed to establish his case against the 4th respondent. Balarabe Mahmood, a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, is the lead counsel for the deposed emir, and he speaks on the judgment.
A vindication of the earlier position, challenging the banishment and the maltreatment, I would say, that was meted against the 14th Emir of Kano following his deposition back in March 2020. So at that time, as you may recall, the Emir did not challenge the deposition, but he did seek an enforcement of his fundamental right, both in terms of the banishment and in terms of the confinement. So the court ruled this morning that that action was illegal and also awarded a compensation in his favor. Well, I think the most important thing is that the court had declared illegal and a violation of his fundamental rights, the banishment, as well as his forceful transportation to away the night following his deposition. So all of that has been annulled in terms of declaring it unconstitutional and illegal and a violation of his rights. So what the court decided also was that he must be given a public apology as well as a compensation, which I think is a fair outcome.
A federal high court's judgment in a suit seeking disqualification of the governor-elect and deputy governor-elect for Anambra State in the November 6 governorship election, Charles Soludo and Onyeka Ibezim, has been shifted by 24 hours. Justice Taiwo Taiwo of the Federal High Court Abuja earlier fixed Tuesday, November 30, for the judgment. The adjustment is contained in a notice in the courtroom, which showed that the judge will not sit on Tuesday as earlier scheduled, hence the 24 hours adjustment of the court verdict. Meanwhile, no reason is given for shifting of the judgment, but the notice apologized to lawyers involved in the legal battle and urged them to bear with the court. Plaintiffs in the suit, Adindu Valentine and Egudike Chukwebuka, are claiming that Soludo provided false information in the affidavit he submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission, thus should be deemed unqualified to stand for the election. President Muhammadu Buhari has written a letter to the chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmood Yakubu, seeking comments from INEC over the Electoral Act Amendment Bill passed by the National Assembly on November 9. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, who also confirmed the communication, said the President would continue to consult with relevant stakeholders on the matter before the bill is signed. The President, who received the bill on November 19, has until December 19 to sign the bill or communicate to the National Assembly his feelings and comments about the bill. Some of the content of the bill include electronic transmission of results, electronic voting, diaspora voting, and other issues. Nigerian Senate has mandated its Committee on Interior to carry out a full-scale investigation into the causes of jailbreaks across the country. The upper chamber also resolved to summon the Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Haliru Nababa, to determine the status of correctional centers nationwide with a view to finding out the challenges in order to prevent future recurrence. The report.
The need to summon stakeholders in the Nigerian Correctional Service formed part of resolutions reached by the Senate this Tuesday. The summon followed a motion brought to the floor by Senator Stephanos Nyang during Tuesday's plenary. Nyang, while coming under an Order 42 and 52 of the Senate's rules, noted with grief the multiple terror attacks on two communities of Taigbe, Ringeland, and Dobi Sheri districts in Basa and Jos East local government areas of Plateau, thereby leading to the death of over 10 persons. According to the lawmaker, the attacks caused by security breach of the Jos Medium Security Correctional Center was a setback to the relative peace in Plateau North. It disclosed that 9 inmates, including an officer identified as Umar Mohammed, were killed while about 252 inmates escaped during the jailbreak.
An update from the center indicates the following: that 9 of the inmates were killed in the attack. One of the bandits was also killed. One officer lost his life during the attack. 252 inmates escaped and are now at large. 6 persons who are also inmates were fatally injured. 10 of the escapees have been rearrested.
Other lawmakers in their contributions blamed the spate of insecurity in Nigeria on the inadequate number of personnel across the various security agencies in the country.
The current military or security personnel in total are inadequate to solve the Nigerian problem. Even under normal circumstances, when we are not fighting Boko Haram, we are not fighting the militancy, I think the security is grossly inadequate.
It is very saddening to have learned of what happened in Jos at the Correctional Center. And this draws our attention, really, to the fact that the correctional centers, that is our former prison system, is the weakest link in our criminal justice system in the country.
They lamented that jailbreaks have become a recurring decimal, which in recent times have exposed the lives of Nigerians to harm as a result of prisoners on rampage. They noted it's a great dent on the correctional service centers across the country.
Can we create a special department here to address issues of intelligence gathering, to find out the resource? Let's go and address this issue of security and call a collective effort with traditional rulers, students, opinion molders, market people. We shall find solution to it.
The Deputy Senate President Ovi Omo Agege, who presided over a plenary on Tuesday, described the security breaches at correctional services as a serious issue that must be looked into. The Senate therefore observed a minute silence in honor of those who lost their lives during the attacks.
Nigeria's House of Representatives on Tuesday mandated the Nigerian Center for Disease Control to set up a national response to control the spread of the new Omicron variant currently ravaging most parts of the country. The motion on the need to take immediate action was brought to the floor at plenary by the lawmaker representing Jos Southeast Federal Constituency of Plateau State, Dachung Bagos. Bagos says research has suggested that there may be an increased risk of reinfection of the new variant, Omicron, on people who have been previously treated of the COVID-19 infection compared to other variants of proper care, or if proper care is not taken. While contributing to the debate, member Henry Nwauba demands the NCDC to give proper account of monies donated by well-meaning individuals and corporate bodies in the wake of COVID-19 outbreak to enable such monies be plowed back to fight the new variant.
Parliament to ensure that the executive activate response to curtail the spread of Omicron in Nigeria, to be able to safeguard our people, and especially Nigerians that travel for businesses in and out, to give them guide, and at the same time to know how to conduct themselves when they come back into the country and even when traveling to other countries. And again, to still look at countries that already have the spread of this virus, so that we should be able to know how we accommodate them into Nigeria through whatsoever means, to see that they don't spread this variant into the country, which is very, very important for us to be safeguarded as a people.
We increased the budget to the health sector by 72%. So Nigerians are asking, we are asking, how are these monies implemented and discharged at the bottom of the pyramid? How much percentage of that is going towards the fight against COVID-19? The federal government is starting from next week, I believe, saying that any civil servant that is not vaccinated will not be allowed to come to work. I know of mobile vaccine testing areas. In my area where I live in Jabi, they come out and Nigerians just do not show up to be vaccinated. We cannot continue like this, Mr. Speaker.
Similarly, Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 said it is currently monitoring the situation around the world concerning the new COVID-19 variant known as Omicron. The Secretary to Federal Government and Chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee, Boss Mustafa, said this at the national briefing in Abuja.
Nigerians and residents are therefore urged to get fully vaccinated, frequently tested, and continue to strictly adhere to the non-pharmaceutical intervention measures, including physical distancing, properly wearing the face mask, ensure proper ventilation in enclosed places, and the use of hand hygiene. However, the Presidential Steering Committee is reviewing the situation around the world and putting in place measures to curtail the impact of the variant on the country. The Presidential Steering Committee is aware of some travelers who have resolved to circumvent the travel protocols by providing fake COVID-19 test results, permit to travel certificates, or declaring fake vaccination status at our point of entry. The weight of the law is heavy and will come hard on these people. The vaccine mandate will come into effect fully on 1st of December 2021. And I encourage every federal government worker and in essence all Nigerians and residents to get vaccinated. With the developments around the world, people will not be able to travel without their verified vaccination cards. The Presidential Steering Committee will want to inform you that the impasse on the Nigeria-UAE flights have been resolved in the interest of both parties. Although this process has taken so long to pull through with its ripple effects, we thank everyone that was involved in getting this deal. A date for the commencement of flights between the two countries will be announced in due course.
Commuters and passengers in Bauchi metropolis say Nigerian people are the most difficult phenomena to deal with, especially in terms of compliance with law and order. They made the statement during the monthly sanitation exercise in the state. Trust TV correspondent Adamu Imam has details.
The monthly sanitation exercise was designed to make people more enlightened on cleaning and protection of their immediate environment. But issues of non-compliance is one area that need to be checked. Igwe Gidamai, passenger and a commuter, says the sanitation exercise is a welcome development, but people are naturally offenders.
And we have been doing it. Only that many of us we are lawbreakers, because law is meant to be broken. You understand? So arresting somebody is what is good if you fail, but when there is an emergency, because Nigeria needs force. Without force, you cannot get it. Like everybody is running up and down. They seize me, they seize me. Did you obey? No. But when you obeyed, nothing will happen. Abi?
According to the State Environmental Protection Agency, new modalities has already been adopted.
Having some places to hang around with people discussing. So we are calling the general public that what we are doing is not for Wasefa, it's not for the government, but we are trying to ensure that we safeguard the public health. So people should comply by not just restricting the movement, but by participating fully in sanitizing their immediate environment.
However, Saibu Adam National Environmental Standard and Regulation Enforcement Agency explained that enforcement is key to change people's attitude towards sanitation.
Get to see a lot of people going out on their daily businesses as if it's not a sanitation day. The least we expect is you should sanitize yourself. You should at least sanitize your surroundings, your house, and so on and so forth.
Meanwhile, Basepa opined that they will continue collaboration with key stakeholders, especially community leaders. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching Trust TV. Coming up after the break, how villagers move against cholera outbreak. Do stay with us.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the Trust TV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search Trust TV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust TV News Update. Here's a look at some of our top stories. Justice Anwali Chikere of the Federal High Court Abuja has declared banishment of the deposed Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, to Aniu in Nasarawa State as unlawful and a violation of the fundamental human rights. Plus, Federal High Court's judgment in a suit seeking disqualification of the governor-elect and deputy governor-elect for Anambra State in the November 6 governorship election, Charles Soludo and Onyeka Ibezim, has been shifted on Wednesday. To more news, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Buba Marwa, says the agency mopped up over 3 million kilograms of illicit drugs and psychoactive substances in the country between January and November this year. Marwa, represented by the Secretary of the agency, Shedrack Haruna, stated this in Abuja on Tuesday during the public destruction of 20,000 kilograms of assorted illicit drugs seized by the Federal Capital Territory Abuja and Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport Command of the NDLEA. He said following the change of strategy, the agency arrested 10,355 drug traffickers, over 5,579 drug users, counseled and rehabilitated, while at least 1,000 have been convicted and are in jail. Members of the National Assembly have been tasked to fast-track the passage of Gender and Equal Opportunity Bill with a view to stemming the rising case of violence against women in the country. The task is handed down at a global campaign tagged Orange the World and Violence Against Women Now at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center in Abuja. Trust TV's Shafi'u Suleiman reports.
A resounding call to Nigerians to stop gender-based violence now as cases of abuses rise. Lead speaker at the forum, Bisi Adeleye Fahimi, advocates the need to address existing cultural and structural impediments against the campaign.
We still have significant gaps and challenges, and we should all be concerned about our lack of institutional capacity to enforce laws and policies, inadequate implementation frameworks, lack of reliable data, lack of financial, technical, material, and human resources, lack of cohesion and coordination, insufficient analysis and research, lack of continuity in governance, and much more, makes implementation extremely difficult.
She calls for a strong legal framework and strategic action plan, as well as political will to deal with the challenge. Some participants speak.
This is a yearly program that we bring more awareness about the issue of women who are being abused globally, because it's happening globally. So it's for us to come see how we can seek for solution and see how we can amplify the voices of women who are going through this, who are victims, and see how we can also support them to overcome whatever it is that they are going through.
We should look into the technological aspect of it, because now everyone is online, everyone. Even the secondary school students we're talking about and the university students at large is online. And I feel if more sensitization is done online, we can achieve greater results. And if that protection and confidence is given to ladies online too, they'll be able to come forward and present their cases and also believe that this could be looked out and many other things could be done to help their condition.
I will say that one major impediment is that as citizens, we don't realize that it is our collective responsibility. We believe that if it's not happening to me, there's nothing I can do about it. I really should not get involved. So that for me is the key impediment. It's about us not aligning ourselves, our values, with what is happening to women and girls all around Nigeria.
The event, tagged Orange the World, End Violence Against Women Now, marks the beginning of a 16-day vigorous campaign against the act by critical stakeholders. Shafi'u Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In the same vein, some non-governmental organizations are calling for the creation of a special court that will treat cases of gender-based violence and sexual abuse, as well as sanction stiffer penalties for perpetrators. Port Harcourt-based groups, National Association of Sea Dogs, International Federation of Women Lawyers, and International Elite Women Initiative said since 1 in 3 women and girls aged 15 to 24 experience gender-based violence and delay in justice delivery is fueling the menace. The report.
So we took it upon ourselves to, try to see how best we can address these issues. Another challenge we faced was that women and girls with disabilities who have been violated do not have access to justice. Many times when they visit police stations or service providers, they are told to, try and go and settle with the perpetrator or that services are not available to cater for their needs. So we've developed this toolkit for it to guide service delivery in SGBV services. And also we did a mapping of special and inclusive schools, and the report of that research showed that a lot of children with disabilities are victims of violence.
This type of book is supposed to change people's attitude so that they can begin to think that, yes, person with disability are woman too. You see? Disability can happen to anyone at any point in life. So if you put yourself in that position,
hold on.
will not do the evil or the violence you do to them. Because we feel, what if this girl is my sister? What if she is my child? What if it's my own? When your orientation begin to change, you will be able to treat a person with disability fairly.
DRAC in its entirety has done a whole lot in training, advocacy, sensitizing women and persons with disabilities in all facets of life. This book has come to stay because today it's going to serve as a framework upon which every person with disability will hit the ground running with in terms of asserting your rights, seeking for justice, gender-based violence, and every other thing you can think of is enshrined in this book. Because
Nearly 500 people are affected by cholera outbreak in Gomo village in Sumaila local government area of Kano State. Residents of the village are calling on the state government to provide them with portable drinking water and electricity. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibril visits the community. His report.
This is Gomo, a small community of about 10,000 people in Sumaila local government area of Kano State. This town is about 130 kilometers drive from Kano and only 2 kilometers to Bauchi State. But life here is terrible.
Muna iyaka da jihar Bauchi na tsakanin da su kawai kilomita 2 ne. Amma abubuwa na ci gaba yayi mana nisa a wannan gwamnatin jiha saboda haka muke kuka dan Allah dan annabi shi ita wannan gwamnatin jihar Kano mai albarka karkashin shugabancin mai girma Alhaji Umar Ganduje da taimaka domin inganta ko kuma gyara mana wannan hanya domin ci gaba da kuma bunƙasar tattalin arziki na wannan ƙasa ta mu ta Najeriya.
Although there is only one borehole to serve over 10,000 households, however, going through the community, there is no access road. They depend on polluted wells for drinking water.
Bohol da muke da su akwai wanda suke yin aiki yanzu akwai kuma wanda suka lalace wanda suke aiki ba su kwaya biyu yanzu kwaya biyu wanda suke aiki a yanzu amma wanda suka lalace ya suka 10.
Most of the houses, that's where we get the very clean water because our wells are very dirty and filthy. So that borehole is the one we use to just manage.
This primary healthcare center is the only health facility in Gomo, but the bed space is grossly inadequate. No medical equipment to confront emergencies, and the personnel are only 3 for over 10,000 people.
Komai dare za a zo a tashi ka a kawo maka mara lafiya muna abinci ma gagarar mu ci ma yake a asibitin nan. A garin ma gaba ɗaya ko da yaushe mutane sai dai godiya Allah da ya kawo ya takaita mana shi.
While these people continue to live almost in isolation from Kano State, it is expected that the state government will come to their aid, at least with basic amenities of life. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
We've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to connect with us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.